if there's any word that can sum up the way this series has gone so far, it's the word bear. We've had a lone druid and an Ursa in both games so far, and in both cases, Fnatic had one, Kaipi had the other. Game number one went the way of Fnatic in a big way, picking the Ursa into a team that just had everything under the sun to deal with the pick. Didn't have a whole lot of help from the rest of his teammates in terms of just pure skill set. Kaipi took a pretty ugly loss there. Game two, though, the complete opposite. Lifestealer and Lone Druid once again picked up by Fnatic, but Kaipi getting the Bane, getting the Darkseer, and just having so much in their toolbox to help that Ursa get on a target, stay on a target, able to just suffocate and smother Fnatic out and not give them any room to breathe, getting a win in the mid-game, and now a decisive Game 3. I'm AC. You're watching the conclusion of this best-of-3 series here in the G-1 Champions League Western Qualifier. Fnatic taking on Kaipi. Now, the loser of this series will be back in action today. For those who are just showing up, this is being broadcasted from replay. So this series was actually played yesterday. However, this is the first time it has been broadcast, at least with an English caster to my knowledge. So you're not missing anything, or at least not missing anything that everyone else didn't miss. And really looking forward to seeing if Kaipi's going to go back to the well another time. And, you know, I talked a lot over the last two games over the strengths and the weaknesses of the hero that is Ursa. And the thing about Ursa is he just has so much that is a liability, but if he can overcome those one or two big sticking points, he can just take a game over. And that's exactly what we saw in game number 2, as Eternal Envy just basically became too much to handle at about 30-40 minutes in. That was due in large part to the fact that he did find himself on the good side of some free farm in a completely almost uncontested lane, and that was after the offensive tri-lane of Fnatic failed. But that is the way that you answer an Ursa. Just run an offensive tri-lane. The hero has next to no lane presence early on. Yes, he can do a little bit of damage, but especially if you have the right personnel, if you have someone like a Shadow Demon, like a Lifestealer, so on and so forth, then it becomes really easy to deal with that. And in game 1, that's what we saw. Kaipi just really couldn't stand the pressure. Envy never had a chance to really be on par with the rest of the map in terms of gold and experience. In game 2, though, was a completely different story. They had a very nice engagement just as the horn sounded just south of the tier 1 top. Got first blood, got a couple of kills. Fnatic going to go ahead and grab Bane up. And that's, a first pick Bane at this point doesn't surprise me at all. And it's been a lot of fun over the last 60 days or so to see that hero wax so much in his popularity. For a while, there were only one or two teams that really liked to run him. The two that come to mind immediately were Empire and Dignitas. They ran the hero all the time. But he was almost always just, a late pickup. You pick him up in 4th or 5th draft position, he was almost never going to be banned. But now, especially with the rise of popularity of Lifestealer in particular, Lone Druid, another good hero, even Gyrocopter has a lot of trouble against Bane. Bane is just the mid-game anti-carry of choice. Any hero that's going to be looking to fight and is not like a pure anti-mage style of late-game carry, Bane just deals with them so well. And I'd actually be surprised, and I'll tell you what surprises me, is seeing the Wisp ban down. And I mean, just imagine if Kaipi bans the Bane instead of the Wisp, and now they're able to pick up a Lifestealer and a Shadow Demon. And, and that's just theory crafting. But if they pick up a Lifestealer and a Shadow Demon and they ban the Bane instead of the Wisp, that is such a more potent combination, especially with the Magnus already there. Then you have the freedom to maybe look to sneak a Gyrocopter in the second phase if you want. Then you can do something creative with your lanes and so on and so forth. But, again, and wow, they're actually just going to pick to counter a Lifestealer that they think Fnatic. They're trying to bait Fnatic into picking a Lifestealer here is exactly what's happening. You pick the Clockwork blindly, like right now, there's no reason to have that Clockwork. I mean, yeah, the hero's great on his own. I mean, you can just build a lineup around a Clockwork or look to make a Clockwork a big part of a lineup. But Lifestealer actually not going to be picked up at all. Gyrocopter still available too. And we'll see how these bans are going to go. But this is an interesting draft to me. Fnatic and Kaipi. And, Fnatic picking up the chin here, I don't think that was necessary. They probably could have gotten him for free in the second phase. But foregoing the Lifestealer pick really is going to put the emphasis on Kaipi, and that's probably the reason for it. They want to see what the next pickup is going to be from Kaipi. Is it going to be some other hero that can look to try and deal with a Lifestealer or look to try... And basically, they want to see the complexion of what Kaipi is going to show them. Is it going to be another Ursa lineup? Is it going to be perhaps a Gyrocopter lineup? Or are they going to pick something like an Anti-Mage, so on and so forth? But back to the Clockwork. Clockwork is usually a reprisal pick whenever you watch professional drafting. And yeah, we're actually going to see Fnatic go ahead and ban out the Anti-Mage there. And again, that's not to say that you can't just pick a clock blindly, because the hero does some things amazingly well. He does limit what the enemy team can really draft into it if they want to, unless they just want to put themselves in a position where Clock like hard counters a lifestealer. Clock hard counters a lot of heroes and causes a lot of problems, especially in conjunction with a Magnus. Part of it might have been, part of it might have been as well, seeing the Darkseer, not wanting to allow Fnatic to get that combination. Vacuum into Cogs was just devastating in the mid game in particular, so that might have been a factor as well. But so far, looking at the way the bans are going, Anti-Mage taken out by Fnatic along with Leshrac. Queen of Pain, TA gone, courtesy of Kaipi, so they're thinking Fnatic is going to want to have a high-profile mid and banning those out accordingly. But so far, I mean, other than the Chin pick, which basically tells you that Fnatic is going to want to fight earlier rather than later, there's just not a whole lot we can glean here. I mean, Magnus is a hero that scales well at all phases of the game because of the strength of Empower and what it does for carries no matter at any phase. It doesn't matter the carry is or how early in the game is. They're going to benefit from Magnus tossing out an Empower. They're going to have good team fight with Clock's Cogs and with the reverse polarity. Good map control potential in the Nyx Assassin. Again, Nyx just one of those heroes that makes you play a different way, makes your supports invest in the detection, slows down other items like mech, slows down items like pipe, and so on and so forth. So, but other than that, rather ambiguous on both sides right now. And looking at Fnatic, what they have so far, I feel like they need a damage-dealing mid, and what they might want to do here, if they can get away with it, is draft a Gyrocopter that they can run mid against Mag or Clock, depending on who they decide to send there, and then look to get a hard carry to go with that, because the stability that a Bane, Darkseer, and Shen are going to give you is enough to turtle out if you want, so why not give yourself that freedom? The Lifestealer still has not been drafted, so we'll see if Fnatic wants to take that away. But Kaipi, honestly, doesn't seem to be a big fan of the hero. They had every chance in the world to pick him up if they wanted him, and instead opting to forego him. Phantom Lancer, another hero that's available. And that's a hero I could see Fnatic running very well if they were able to get a good mid. And, any hero can go mid. I mean, they could even run the Darkseer there if they really wanted to. But having a Gyrocopter, if they can get their hands on it, with the synergy that would be offered with Darkseer's Vacuum into the call down, then you throw in a Phantom Lancer to give you that late game safety belt. And it's really easy to underestimate just how early a Phantom Lancer can start to fight. To really feel effective, a PL wants at least a set of boots, Diffusal and a heart, or some other tankish item. But they can honestly forgo that if they want to and just go, I mean, at Drums Diffusal, if you go Boots, Drums, Diffusal, you can fight. And you can have that up really quickly. And the Faceless Void gonna be the ban out. Now Kaipi, yep, there's a gyro. Okay, that works for them as well, and I like that pick more because it takes the potential for it away from Fnatic than I like it even how it fits into their lineup. It's gonna fit in fine. Especially, I mean, Magnus plus gyro is so strong. But I like the pick so much just because it takes that away from Fnatic, because Fnatic would have been looking for a mid with the heroes Kaipi had already showed us. Gyro can do just fine against Magnus in mid, and that would have been a real nice fit for them. Now the question for Fnatic becomes, do you go ahead? Okay, Dragon Knight going to be the pickup. That could be their mid. And usually, to be honest, that's what you see. I mean, Dragon Knight can run in a variety of situations. He can certainly defensively tri-lane and benefit from that kind of farm and that kind of experience. But at the same time, Dragon Knight can also mid fairly effectively, especially against a melee hero like Magnus. And they're going to be able to trade blow for blow with some bottle crowing and with some rune control in terms of breathe fire as well as shockwave. The big downside for Dragon Knight, though, is he doesn't have any dedicated escape mechanism. Magnus has skewer. So, if that is the matchup, they should be able to do fine against each other. Both will get their levels, both will get their gold. But DK is going to be a lot more susceptible to gank attacks coming out of Kaipi. And when you have heroes like Clockwork and the reach he gives you, Nyx Assassin and so forth, that's something you got to worry about. I'll tell you what I mean, looking at this, it seems like you have your mid and your off lane already. But looking at Fnatic, Puck would be beautiful for them. I really think a Puck pick for Fnatic would be fantastic. And he hasn't been banned yet if they want to just farm the DK in that role. The only thing that would worry me about Puck is they would be in one of those situations where if the DK falls too far behind, he'll never catch up. And DK is excellent a hero as he is. He's not as good as, say, a Gyrocopter at making up ground. Gyrocopter can close so much ground in terms of a farm and net worth in the mid game. Just because of how the hero works, because of his skill set. His ability to flash farm, his ability to take solo farm against 3-4 stacked ancient camps, even at like level 11, is really, really solid. Well, they're going to go ahead and grab a Shadow Demon. Nothing wrong with that. Shadow Demon's one of my favorite supports in the entire game. Usually you pick a Shadow Demon up as a concentrated support, or excuse me, concentrated counter to someone. For Dragon Knight, yep, there's the puck pick. I love that. I thought that would be so smart for Fnatic, and I'm glad they got it. But again, the only reason I worry about that puck pickup is that they can't afford to fall behind. They only have one major source of late-game damage and mid-game damage, and that's Dragon Knight. So if the DK isn't where he needs to be in terms of levels and farm, they're going to find themselves in really, really tough shape. They will be able to turtle out. And DK, I mean, he is phenomenal as a carry in the late game and in the mid game. So don't mistake that. But again, his ability with no escape mechanism, he's not an anti-mage who can just roll the dice, go farm the jungle, and hope, and if he gets caught out, just run away. He just doesn't work that way. So they're going to have to make sure that they keep him where he needs to be. And I always forget, I got to set that down. But again, while we have this pause, even though it is from the replays, I want to remind everyone this is a replay broadcast. But we are in game number 3, and this is the first public showing of this series. KP taking on Fnatic. And this is a real important match, I feel, for Kaipi in particular. I mean, obviously, both of these teams want to extend their run here in the G1 Western Qualifier. But for Kaipi's development as a team, I want to say I think they've already done a good job. Kaipi has had a great number of wins lately. They are one of the hottest teams on the planet. They put together a really good record over the last 30 days. They've been able to beat teams like Empire, Team Liquid, Evil Geniuses, and so forth. Just in the last week, mind you. That's just in the last 7 days. So, regardless, the fact that this series has gone to 3 in 2 very close competitive games, well, that's a lie. Game 1 wasn't really close. Neither was Game 2, but it was the other way. Either way, the fact that this series has gone the distance is to KP's credit. So I want to say that I think they've done their job already. But this is still a very important series for them. A win over Fnatic here, and it's one thing to win when no one's paying attention. It's one thing to go out and upset EG and then have a good series against Liquid and all that when you don't feel like anyone's watching. But in the last few days, all eyes have been on Kaipi. All eyes have been watching this squad. I've been watching Envy. I've been watching them to see what's going to happen. And if they can get a win here against Fnatic, it's going to be huge for their prestige. And again, the fact that they've gone to 3, even if they lose, I feel like they're still in. I feel like they've proven themselves pretty well. But a win over Fnatic with the world watching and with everyone going, okay, let's see if Kaipi's legit. Were they just on a hot streak, or can they come into a big setting like the Western Qualifier with a land spot on the line? Can they come into that and beat an established team, especially like Fnatic? And one of the more unique characteristics of Fnatic is just how long these guys have been together, going all the way back to Heroes of Newerth before they switched over full-time to Dota. These guys have been playing together forever. Absolutely forever. So it's very hard to get what I would call luck wins. That's really not the best way to put it. It's really hard to get fluke wins. There we go. That's a better way to put it. Really hard to get fluke wins against Fnatic because their communication is always so good. They have a great sense of their own capabilities and the capabilities of their teammates. And they tend to have excellent execution in all phases of the game. It's very rare that you see Fnatic do really well early game and then fall apart late. And you could say, I mean, Fnatic can adapt to circumstances, and not to say they've never thrown a match. I mean, every team's thrown their fair share of matches. But for the most part, when I look at Fnatic, they're a team that usually you'll know by 25, 30 minutes in if they're going to win or lose. They are not a team that throws regularly, and they are not a team who comes out slow and then gains speed late. They tend to come out and play very consistently across an entire game. And if they are executing early, they're very difficult to come back against. And I think that's a concept we even saw in this series. They didn't play well from behind in Game 2, and they ended up losing. And in Game 1, basically from the moment the lanes took shape, they were playing well, they got ahead early, and even though the game did go 40 minutes or so in Game 1, it never really felt like Kaipi was in it. It never really felt like they had a chance. And that's, again, just a hallmark of how Fnatic plays Dota and the strength of having a team that has played together as long as they have. Anyway, enough John about that. We are underway. About we take a look at who's playing who. We're going to have Zizou handling our Shadow Demon. Nyx Assassin played by Pai Lai Dai. Magnus going to be played by Arise. Now this excites me. Last time I saw Arise in action on Magnus, he put on one of the more spectacular performances on the hero I have seen in competitive Dota. Just was everywhere he needed to be. His reverse polarities were spot on and quite literally landed the best, if one of the best, if not the best reverse polarity I've ever seen in Pro Dota. Clockwork going to be handled by Bone7. And we'll have Eternal Envy farming up our Gyrocopter on the other side of the river. Fly going to be playing on Bane. Going to have No Tail handling the Chen. Era going to be farming up our DK. Darkseer played by Trixie. And the Puck pick going to be handled by Hani. I really love the way Puck fits into this. I called it whenever I saw the last draft slot for Fnatic. And again, the only problem I have with it is that they need to do well early. I mean, and Chen is kind of the same way. I mean, having a Chen and a Puck is kind of the same thing. Puck is going to give you a lot at all phases. Make no mistake. I mean, there's never a time in the game when Coil isn't good, okay? There's never a time when Waning Rift isn't good, and having the ability to AoE silence in such a big AoE, or comparatively big AoE, there's never a time that that's a bad thing. But when it comes to just pure damage, where is it other than the DK and the Puck? Especially as you go later. Waning Rift does good damage. Coil does a little bit. The Orb and Ethereal, I mean, obviously Ethereal John doesn't really matter, but the Orb does good damage in the early and mid-game phases. DK, depending on how he wants to build, would imagine he'll probably max his Breathe Fire. That is a massive amount of AoE damage that they can combine with Puck's Reach and Initiation. But after that, what do you have? You got Brain Sap, you can get some damage out of a full channel Fiend's Grip, and you've got Vacuum Wall. I mean, these are all good spells that when they all work together will just melt a team down. But you just don't have any other hero who can do consistent, reliable damage outside of the DK and the Puck, and Puck falls off in terms of his damage output pretty quickly. So, Era gonna be the one to watch, eating a lot of creep damage here. Yeah, it's gonna have to go ahead and pull him all the way back. He is going to have uncontested farm, same is going to be true of the Gyrocopter. Now, in terms of which hero is a better carry late game, that's actually really tough to call. DK gets a free Scotty at level 16. That's pretty amazing. And, you know, usually when I see a DK, the way I refer to him is he manages team fights. He does damage. He can do a lot of damage, especially if you build him certain ways. But he is more of a, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just stand in the middle of the fight. I'm going to be tanky as all hell. I'll have a BKB, so magic's not going to hurt. And I'm going to prioritize the entire... I'm basically going to dictate the entire pace of the fight by prioritizing targets, slowing them down with my level 16 ultimate, and allowing my team to get work done. So he's going to be able to do that. But, again, his team, unless he just gets ahead and stays ahead, his team, he doesn't have, say, a Gyrocopter of his own. He doesn't have something like a Nyx Assassin to give him some reliable single-target DPS to blow up a given target. Doesn't even have a Magnus who can just spam Shockwave and do reliable damage. So this is going to be an interesting game to watch play out. I'm really, really interested to see how they're going to decide to do this. Darkseer needs to just sack it and go to the jungle at this point. I mean, even if he's just stacking one camp over and over again, it would be worth it. And that might be what he's doing. He's running all the way back to the base, and he may just go ahead and take this hard camp stack that No Tail's giving him. For now, though, all quiet pretty much everywhere. We can see by the CS, Chen's on top. That's a little inflated, though, because it is creep CS. He is going to go ahead and smoke up. Now, this is the single most predictable gank timing in history. 4 minutes. Is there ever a time to feel nervous with a Chen on the board? It's 4 minutes. And here we go. Yeah, oh, wow, this is bad. Bones should be our first blood because of that. There's the Dragon Tail to follow it up. And there's the net. Yep, that'll be that. Era is maxing Breathe Fire as anticipated. But yeah, the 4 minute mark, that's something you, no matter what your skill level is, if you're up against a Chen or up against any jungling hero and you're wondering when you should really start to look out for ganks, 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes. That's when you'll see a lot of players And again, even if they're not like pro level caliber or high bracket or whatever, that's just the time you start to see people come out for early ganks. Not saying go sit under your tower, but just be aware. To quote the Warden from Oz, if you watch HBO, be aware and beware. And that's probably a reference one person's going to enjoy as much as I do, but I don't care. I love Oz. First kill on the board, 1-0 as we approach 5 minutes in. That first blood did end up going to Era. Certainly the hero you want to get it on if you can help it. And he's off to a fantastic start. He honestly, if he wants to, could try for a Midas build. And wow, they're just going to engage on the bone again. Here comes the TP reaction though, and that's a whole team coming. They should be able to clean him up, but what's it going to cost him? And Gyro's there. Wow, they're going to get away. Gyro does have face. He may be able to pursue this out. There's Magnus. Oh, there's the RP. Good cancel from Arise. And once again, Arise showing us just how capable this hero can be. Skewered across the chasm, it looks like. Lands the RP and catches two. Very well played and making me proud to have bragged on you, my friend. Pretty good Magnus player, if I do say so myself. We saw that in the, I want to say it was game 1 of Kaipi versus Empire in their round 1 matchup here in the Western Qualifier. And just got a small little dose of it there. 6 minutes in. And the game beginning to show us a little bit of blood. Puck's atop the net worth board right now. He's sitting at 26-25 for the DK, 23 for our Gyro. So everything's staying pretty nip and tuck. And I think I'm even more interested to see is which team's going to really take the onus to get aggressive in a big way. Like right now, seeing Chen do dives and do ganks, that's not surprising at all. But at what point is Fnatic just going to pin their ears back and go, okay, let's get crazy. Let's get physical. And start trying to put on a lot of pressure. Or, in comparison, at what point will, yeah, and Eternal Envy's actually going to Morbid Mask. I was just getting ready to bring up how he's going to build and what that's going to tell us about their plans for the mid-game. And hang on, Trixie, just going to try to TP away. Good decision-making. Zizou, a little slow getting there. But at what point is Envy likely to go, okay, it's time to go fight. It's time for us to just go, just let me be Gyrocopter. Let me do 690 damage with maxed out Rocket Barrage and lay into you with Call Down and Flak Cannon. Flying No Tail, going back to the well a second time. And Bone 7 might be in trouble. He's going to go ahead and move over, and yep, there it is, popped. He's going to be nightmared. Let's see if they have the ability to get some damage done. TP reaction is coming. Drops the cogs. Here comes DK just running right past the tower. There's another RP and a Rise coming out of mid again to help his team. Just didn't get the other help. Good coil from Hani. Gonna lock him down. Went much better that time. And they sent just too little help. Shen gonna go ahead and use his ulti, and they're gonna take a tower. They may push through to tier 2. In the meantime, Zizou's gonna be killed. Oh wow, Trixie gets a free one there. He may end up paying for it. Carapace stuns him, call downs there, and yeah, he's gonna drop, but yeah. Fnatic gonna push to tier 2. This is a big win. Big win for Fnatic. Taking that other hero down means they can't push this, means that Eternal Envy can't push as fast, so they're not gonna be able to trade. They're gonna lose 2 towers for free, and Fnatic might be able to just collapse mid now. They may honestly just go collapse mid, or they might just fall back and let No Tail finish mech. That'd probably make a bit more sense. Envy's choice to go Morbid Mask here is a little bizarre to me, to be blunt. The bonus armor is going to help. And this is on the assumption, by the way, he's going for Helm of the Dominator. So, you know, you build a Morbid Mask, you're probably going to get up a Helm of the Dom on Gyrocopter. You get the lifesteal, okay. But you don't have damage. You don't have the damage to justify the lifesteal at this stage of the game. And, I mean, I guess he could go Mask of Madness. Maybe he's looking to do something nutty. Go Mask of Madness and then rely on burst damage from Flak Cannon and from and Rocket Barrage. Maybe that's the plan. But doesn't have the damage. He's skipping survivability items like an Aqualate, drums, etc. He even skipped survivability in his boots. He just went phase. Which, I mean, to a point, yeah. You build phase boots because you want damage, though. I mean, the maneuverability is a part of survivability, sure, but he's not going to have any survivability items. And he's not going to have any damage. You know, like a Shadow Blade build, I could get behind it. Yeah, he does finish the Helm of the Dom, so. But I just don't know what this does for him. I just don't know how that helps him out that much. In the meantime, it's 3-5. Fnatic leads. We're coming up on 10 minutes. We'll take our first look at the goal graph. 4,000 in favor of Fnatic. Just about 1,000 experience going their direction as well. Taking a look at Era, he's going to build an armlet. And this is an excellent item choice. I hold on. Big TP reaction and Envy being pursued. Good disruption. Going to buy some time. And Trixie will not be able to get away. One got away. Trixie not so lucky. They sit the house there. Envy still up and running, though. So at the very least, they bail out their carry. But in the meantime, support's beginning to make up some distance. Make up some ground, actually. That's the better way to say it. Kaipi might want to take a shot at this tier 1. The reaction should be there. Hani's already en route. He's got a coil if he wants to spend it. And in the meantime, Fnatic is now collapsing on mid. The mech is almost done. 70 gold. And yeah, I don't know that they can push this. Like, what push power do they have with these 4 heroes? Hell, even if Envy's there, Envy's not going to have a ton of push power. He didn't build damage. Or at least, well, he built damage with the phase boots, but he didn't build damage with his first item. So, the tower still stands. Trixie's there. Mech should be done in 40 gold. And that might be the word go. And there's Call Down going to catch one. It looks like Envy is going to be cleaned up. Shockwave doing good damage. Pylai died, knocked Bane out. Now there's a skewer, but no mana. No way to follow it up. Breathe Fire doing massive damage. Era just so tanky, and look how hard he's hitting with that DD up. There goes Puck. Puck going to go ahead and John up, and Arise going to be added to the kill total. Big loss there for Kaipi. I honestly didn't think that fight was going to get out of hand the way it did. Fnatic tried to engage from the low ground with Bane using Fiend's Grip, and Nyx Assassin was in great position to stun him out of it. Then I thought we were just going to see a little bit of damage, a kill or two, then both teams fall back. That's not what happened. The net went down onto the gyrocopter. They were able to do damage there. And then Arise, having spent his RP to save Envy once before, didn't have it ready. Even if he did, he had no mana. And Fnatic now, with the mechanism complete, moving their way down to Roche. And this is worrisome if you're in Fnatic's shoes. Or excuse me, Kaipi's shoes. You don't want to be losing map control this early against the Chen. The way you want to try to deal with the Chen is it's inevitable you're going to be pushed. You're going to have your towers pushed down. He just pushes so well and so safely. Up there's a hook that's going to connect. That's going to catch Hani. Down go the cogs. He got 2. Here comes Mag. Mag, honestly, did he just waste that? He did. Nobody caught. And a big turnaround. Fnatic might be forced out. Era caught with the demonic purge and should be melted down. Envy out. Nope, never mind. Will be melted down. We're going to see 1 for 1 in the Thunderdome there. Hani now pursuing him out. Buybacks aplenty. And another big reversal of fate for Fnatic. And again, the survivability of that DK, and this is why it's so important that he had a good start and didn't fall behind. We saw just how hard he is to kill now. With the armlet, the damage output out of Breathe Fire is absurd. No survivability items on Gyro. That is killing Eternal Envy. He has no health, very little mana, doesn't have a set of drums, isn't on his way to a BKB. I mean, 13 minutes, he wouldn't have it anyway. No real armor to speak of. And it is killing him. Absolutely killing him. Fnatic nearly doubling up Kaipi now, 13-7 in a 13-minute, 20-second game. After that, Roche. The gold graph very much in their favor. We're talking 5 digits short of 15 minutes in terms of their gold lead. That's massive. That is enormous. Going to be the same story with experience as well. They're going to get another tower, and this will make it 5 figures. And honestly, so far, there's been... right now, Arise is having another good game. Arise is playing very good. The item choice, again, for Gyro just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Hani's going to land in. And should be enough to ward this off. In the meantime, yeah, Fnatic doesn't care. It's like, yeah, what are you going to do? Come fight? You can't kill me. You don't have enough damage. You built lifesteal before you built damage. Armor isn't your problem. So send the gyro down here. We'll just kill him. Here comes Mag. And oh, Magnus. Oh, Arise. Fiend's gripped and dead. Fnatic looks like a totally different team here in Game 3. Game 2, things, and again, it kind of comes down to what I was talking about in the beginning of the cast. Fnatic is not a team who, they have a very steady line of progress in any game they play. They don't throw a lot, and they don't come back a lot. They tend to set the pace for their game in the first 20 minutes, and if they're ahead, they have a tendency to win. If they're behind at 20, they have a tendency to lose, which I guess to a point is true for any team. But Fnatic especially, they're just so stable. They know each other so well, they've been playing together for so long, that if you give them any advantage early, and I do mean any advantage early, they are a team that is happy to grind you out. They are a team that is happy to take little advantages and make them enormous because they just stretch them out over so much time. Ancient stack being taken now by Fnatic. And we can see Kaipi really struggling to find a way to engage. Blade Mail is going to be the choice by Bone. Pile Die doesn't have much to speak of. He's got his arc boots. Not a whole lot else to report. 1,700 gold for Eternal Envy. I'm just curious what he's going to buy now. He might be saving up for a Shadow Blade and may just want to buy it all in one shot. BKB could be a choice as well. His damage output just isn't there. Just isn't there. Arrow's got 3,200 gold in the bank. He could just buy a Reaver. He's actually going to get a Sange. So maybe looking to go ahead and grab another Halberd just to take Gyro out of the fight entirely. Our last hits, we can't see Gyro is on top, so Envy has that going for him. Our net worth, though, he is down below even Chen. So last hit's not everything, and this is what a Gyro can do. He can get into the jungle farm fast because of Flat Cannon Rocket Barrage, but he was under so much pressure that they lost map control so early that it's beginning to show. He just hasn't had time to comfortably set up shop and farm the way he wants to.
Top tower is under attack.
Back to our DK. If he wants a Halberd, he'll have it in 500 gold. Would not be a bad pickup in my opinion. Darkseer with his Hood of Defiance already done. He's going to be on the way to a pipe. And Chen, of course, with his mech. And Chen's going to have that is silly. Chen's going to have a very fast scepter if this continues. He'll have a scepter by 25 minutes if he doesn't die and Fnatic takes another fight. He's already got the point booster. And he already has the Staff of Wizardry. The amount of healing... I mean, how do you even fight? Mech plus a heal every 30 seconds. Now, Arai is going to be Fiend's gripped again. Poor guy. Not sure what he was even doing there. Pile Die will be able to make it away. Down go the cogs. And Hani... Nope, has no way to get to him. Didn't have coil. Didn't have a way to interrupt that. In the meantime, Arrow's going to be caught out. Now let's see if they can get a kill. This would be a good one for them. They're going to collapse on him, but look how tanky he is. There's a disruption onto the gyrocopter. Era will end up having his Aegis pop, but there's the silence. And one auto attack enough to lock down the gyro. He's going to throw out the orb, looking to catch Pile Die. Doesn't have the coil. And an Impale going to set things back momentarily. Fnatic now collapsing on this middle lane. They managed to go 1 for 1 there. It cost them an Aegis, but now they may just go ahead and push off of this. There is no buyback. Oh, actually, there is. Buyback is available for Gyro if he wants it. And, yeah, they're at least going to try to force the buyback. Just heard the RP. Staggered and canceled. Arise, letting us know he's not pleased with the direction of this game. For now, 16-7, 18.5 minutes in. And Fnatic well in control of their fate. 14,000 gold their advantage, 12,000 experience their advantage. Back to Envy. He is going to get a BKB, it would seem. Picked up the Mithril Hammer. Not the most typical way to build a BKB. Usually you'll see the Ogre Club come out first. But, regardless, can't do it this way if you just want damage, which again has been his problem for the most part. And there's going to be a silence. Oh, good coil catches Sisu. The call down's going to be there. He is phase shifted out and did manage to jawn himself away. So they didn't quite manage to kill off the Shadow Demon. Coil now on cooldown for another 75 seconds, but This look familiar, guys? Strangulation, suffocation, asphyxiation. Fnatic cutting this map off and giving Kaipi no room to breathe, doing exactly to them, doing to Kaipi exactly what was done to them in Game 2. This is a game that feels a lot longer than it has been, really. We had 23 kills on the board. We're 20 minutes in. But things are... I mean, the inventories of the supports are just filling up so quick for Fnatic right now. Blink Dagger's already done on Hani. He's got an ultimate orb, so he's a little bit tankier, and he's on his way to a Scythe of Ice. Very important item for him. Trixie, gonna have his pipe done, like, now. And the BKB will be up on Envy soon. And that's gonna help a lot. That's gonna mitigate a lot of the burst damage that has been his bugaboo. Means that Breathe Fire is not just going to melt him completely now. Means Waning Rift is not just going to melt him if he's caught with. There's a DD here. And it will be bottled up by Puck. Means that Brain Sap is not just going to chunk away 1/5 of his health in one shot. Actually, 1/3 of his health in one shot, because it is pure damage. So having that BKB up does make sense. I just don't know how Helm of the Dominator is done. And if that gold were put towards even a Shadow Blade to give him more punch in the mid-game, I'd understand it a lot more. As it stands, though, they are turtling it out, and Fnatic quite happy to just go ahead and continue to farm their items. Let's see, what did he spend his gold on? Anything? Nope, doesn't look like it. Working on his scepter is our Chen. No Tail has played a really good game so far. Hani's actually invested in a gem. Yeah, that's where his gold went. No Tail bought a gem. Gave it to Puck. Roche is going to respawn very soon. About 2 minutes, give or take. Now it's just on Fnatic to set their own pace and decide how they want to try to close this game out. The Dragon Knight has had a great game. He's right on top where he needs to be, where he wants to be. And he's going to be level 16 soon. Yeah, he's level 13 now. He did finish his halberd. Now he's getting a BKB. So that in and of itself is going to be a really nice way to shut down Gyro. And with a BKB, there's almost no way that... there is no way that Kaipi can do any measurable amount of damage. I mean, what makes DK DK is the fact that the strength of Dragon Blood by itself, you're talking 16 bonus armor just from maxing that out. I mean, it is immense. Excuse me, not 16, 12. 12 bonus armor just from maxing that out. That's immense. So you have that to innately make you tanky, then you get a BKB to take magic out of the equation, and all of a sudden, for 10 seconds, you are untouchable. And you're also doing massive damage in an AoE with Breathe Fire and your ulti. And now, we can see, using his level 2 ulti to farm the Ancients. His net worth right on top. He's now in 5 digits. Puck just finished his Scythe of Ice as well. And, I mean, right now, Kaipi's doing what I think they have to. They have to try and farm themselves up some items. They have to try and get some key items going. But sitting back and just letting Fnatic farm at the same time is not going to work. They have to be feeling a sense of urgency and trying to turn this around. And we can see Pile Die trying to take his enemy's Ancient stack, or excuse me, not Ancient stack, just a hard camp stack. But Roche will be back up right now. Big boy up and ready to fight. No warding down in range. I hate not being able to draw, but no warding down in range for Kaipi. They have to know this is happening, though. I mean, they at least have to suspect it. Actually, they've all fallen back, so not seeing them, assuming that they're smoking. But, I mean, they have to be aware that Roche is back up now, and that's got to be the call. We're going to see them go and grab a smoke. We'll see how early they want to spend it. Roche is at half health. Now, this isn't the fastest Roche in history because not everyone's in the pit. They've just got Era and Trixie, basically, with everyone else watching out on the high ground. And now, as Arise makes his way over, Fly should have been spotted there.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Chen uses Hand of God, just in case the fight's going to happen, but it ain't. That's going to be a free Aegis, another one going the way of Era.
Top tower is under attack.
And now they may look to take a fight. Fnatic beginning to hook up in mid. There's the TP reaction, so they might want to pursue this out. Fly, just to the south. Yeah, they're going to try and chase. However, a little late, and the smoke going to be spent by a Rise. Just to get everyone going. Turtle Envy going to go ahead and TP out as well. So, 24 minutes in, 16-7. The current kill score favoring Fnatic. Gold graph has leveled off a bit, but still not exactly where you want it to be leveling off if you are in Kaipi's shoes. They're 14,000 gold behind. The experience right in that range as well. And the map feeling very claustrophobic if you happen to be in Kaipi's shoes right now. And yeah, I mean, Fnatic at this point just needs to push. There's no real reason for them to sit back. Unless they just really want to have a Scepter on No Tail. No Tail's got 1,000 gold, so he's not far from it. He's got 1,200 gold, actually, so the point booster already bought. He only needs 800 more. One of these days, Arise, I hear you doing that. You're going to do that, and your finger's going to slip, and you're going to waste an RP. It's going to happen to you. I'm telling you. But it's one of those caster's bane moments. People canceling spells like that just in boredom or in anxiety. It makes me want to flash the camera to make sure I'm not missing anything. But anyway, here we go. Pipes pop. Looks like they want to push with this wave, and they will. Breathe Fire used. There's the ult. He's not level 16, just level 14, but 14 might be enough. They're going to look to engage somehow here. And there's a disruption. That'll help a bit. There's Illusions doing decent damage, just like how tanky he is. And now here come the Menagerie. The Centaurs and the Satyr. Sounds like the name of a Narnia book, the Centaurs and the Satyr. Aegis will be popped, but no surprise there. He's just selling out, trying to make them spend their abilities. Now back up. He's going to be surged out. Scythe of Ice catches a Rise, but no follow-up. That was actually a little slapdash. I thought Fnatic was going to rush it. Was going to just rush the steps just as the DK respawn, but not going to be the case. So Era loses an Aegis essentially for free. And not the best executed push I've ever seen. 26 minutes in. The game's still well in favor of Fnatic. They did cross the 15,000 gold lead line for a bit. Leveled off at 14,000 experience. Kaipi still trying to find some relevance.
Regeneration.
Talisman of Evasion's been picked up by Envy. Looking to go Butterfly, one would imagine. Don't mind that at all. But again, I just don't know what Helm of the Dominator's done for him. And you know, I'm not trying to hang it all on that, but just imagine what that gold could have been spent on. That 1,850 gold. How much better that could have been spent. And Pylai die. Getting a look at everyone. There's a stomp on Trixie. And wow, Bone gonna be caught. That's not your jungle, Bone. That's what happens, buddy. In the meantime, Pylai die has a TP. He's gonna go ahead and spend it. So they get one high priority kill. And is that his scepter done? Yep, that's it. Chin has a scepter, so Chin is going to be blowing Mech and Hand of God every 30 seconds or so. That is insane. This is the way that you make Chin relevant all game. I mean, Chin does fall off, but I mean, it's a little exaggerated, I think, just how much Chin can fall off. Penitence is always excellent. The bonus damage, the slow, and so on. But if you're healing every 30 seconds, you can just fight forever. Like, just fight forever. It means you can use Hand of God or Mech every 15 seconds and just chain them indefinitely like that, give or take. And now with the pipe up, they are going to rush it again. I suspect this one might be a bit more successful. There's a disruption. Mana burn on No Tail. And the tower does end up dropping. Hand of God's going to be used. Mech's going to be back available in 20 seconds. And now they fall back. Arise gonna eat a Dragon Tail. I'm surprised they're actually there. There's a good coil, and the vacuum right into the wall. They clean up too because of it. Bone drops the cogs, but it caught no one. Arise immediately buys back, and very nice orb bend from Hani. Allows them to get the kill on Bone. And there's an orb. Oh no, that hurts. Those creeps sure are scared to death. Arise, the last to drop. And that's probably your GG. Oh, Rise. It's okay, buddy. You play a good Magnus. You scared the hell out of those creeps, man. I'll tell you that.
Under attack.
That Centaur scared to death. Scared to death.
Radiant's middle barracks.
We're 30 minutes in. First set of racks is down.
Dire's
And we're gonna be
bottom
looking.
tower is under attack. Radiant's
We're gonna be
bottom tower
looking
is under attack.
to probably wind this series up.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Kaipi still holding out hope. They're going to re-engage. There's a call down. Hand of God's going to be used, though. Era eating a bit of damage. Hani able to orb himself to safety. And Fnatic at this point, though, just so far ahead. Coming up on 20,000 in both categories. Kaipi might be able to extend this a bit.
Dire's bottom tower
But I
is
do
under
believe...
attack.
The daughter's already pregnant. Do believe the damage is done. No such thing as a little bit pregnant. And pretty sure when you get into the 20,000 gold deficit of 30 minutes, pretty sure there's no such thing as a little bit behind. Still, not giving up hope. Don't blame him. Gonna try and hold on hope. Take a look at Era's inventory. Yeah, now he's picking himself up some lifesteal. Now this is when you pick up lifesteal. When you have damage. Little extra armor as well. Dude's got 30 freaking armor, man. 30 armor. What do you do against that when he's magic immune? Like, what do you do? It's like you're hitting for, like... Even if you're hitting for 200 damage a shot, it just... Tink, tink, tink. Just does nothing. Does nothing at all. I'm telling you, Arise, you're gonna do that once and miss. You're gonna miss. Your finger's gonna slip and you're gonna end up RPing a bunch of creeps. That's what's gonna happen. Era.
All are healed.
When the game began and we went through the draft, talked about the keys to the game, and without a doubt, one of them was making sure that Era stayed on pace and never got behind, and he has not been behind for a single second in this game. Envy, on the other hand, not quite so fortunate. He is, I mean, he's starting to, I mean, he's still just not hitting hard. He's still only hitting for 150 damage. No tail? Is it even added a medallion? Because you know what? Screw it. Let's just kill Roche in 2 shots because we can, basically. A little basic mana regen never hurt anyone either. Oh, a little extra armor. Ability to blow a target up. A-okay with me. But really, there's not a whole lot to report. KP has been behind for so long now that their inventories really haven't changed. And I see Bone going with the freshest fashion this season. Not only does he have a bracer for each wrist, he's got one for the ankle. The ankle bracer. All the cool kids know about it. If you don't, you ain't got swag. Bone's got swag. Rocking that. He's got his brown boots, you know, going with the vintage look, the vintage early game look.
Incoming.
It's all swagged out with the blade mail. You know, you gotta come correct. You're gonna play Dota. You're gonna enter the G-1 league. You gotta come correct. Gyrocopter. Someday soon, actually. He's only about 300 gold away. We'll be able to buy his Eagle Song. Looking for that butterfly. But both teams just kind of chilling. Just kind of kicking it, really. Roche will be back up in about a minute. Then we'll see him die again very quickly to Fnatic. And then Fnatic will look to close the game out. I am a psychic that way. I can tell you that's what's going to happen. Puck's got a trust fund. Sitting on 3,700 gold. We'll see what he wants to pick up. At this point, it just really doesn't even matter. Could end up getting something like... Oh, hold on. Oh, Envy. That's not your jungle, buddy. That's not your jungle, Envy. He juked. Fly just got juked. Oh, Envy. Hang on. Can you see a little troll face? Can you see a little troll face? See a little troll face? I can see it. There's a little troll face on that gyrocopter there. But anyway. Envy having a little fun, giving the old okey doke. But Fnatic not exactly losing much but time there. 20,000 in excess of 20. Oh, Roshan. This is a cheese, Roshan. And Era takes that first hit bash. Rage at RNG. It's BS, bro. And Shiva's Shiva's going to be the pickup. I'm watching. I'm not going to let the Shiva's guard pickup completely cause my brain to fall into utter dysfunction again, which is exactly what happened. But anyway, Roche should be on the way out. And at this point, all that really Kaipi can do is just hang back and hope and pray that they can defend the base a few times. Like, they're going to have, like, if they have any hope of winning, they're basically going to have to turtle this game out for another 30 minutes or more. And it has to start right now. They can't lose another fight. They lose another fight because Fnatic's not going to do anything but play on their side of the map. So if they lose a fight on their side of the map, which is where every fight's going to be, they're going to lose all of their racks at once. Taylor the buyback. None for Gyro, none for Darkseer, none for Mag. This is all in, basically. It's like real life. There is no respawn. And they're going to be looking for a Rise to make up for his animal abuse RP. That would certainly help. Fnatic looking to close this out. Creep waves melted down. Pipes popped. Impale catches one creep. Get that first creep out of the way. And Era goes blue mode. Now, being level 17, having that level 3 ult up, so important. Just so important. Basically a free Scotty. Even sieging from the low ground, he's doing good damage. And wow, he just went for it on Zizou. There's a good impale to follow it up. They might be able to blow him up, and that's a, yeah. I'm all for going for it there, buddy. But, yep, now they're going to hook out on Era. And here comes the call now. Shiva's going to be used. BKB for BKB. But Era able to just tank through it. Here comes the TP reaction from Zizou. Wants to get back in the fight. Disrupts himself, trying to buy some time. And doesn't matter. Just utterly annihilated. Pile die next on the list. There's a silence on him. He is going to go ahead and end up dropping. Double kill for Era. And that should just about be that. Era with the Aegis does not care to just face tank. In fact, killing him at this point would just about be a favor. And down that goes. He is going to fall back for the moment. Looks like they want to grab another creep wave. Mech up and Hand of God up again in about 10 and 15 seconds respectively. And yeah, they're just going to wait. Cheese dropped, given the Era. Nom 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 nom. Ready to go. 8 to 23. Kaipi on their last legs. They have a naked set of racks. They're missing the racks in mid. Fnatic's just going to go ahead and YOLO in. Call down's going to be there. The creep's laying into the racks for now. But the damage just isn't there again. Hand of God's there. Good RP. Caught a creep, but it also caught two heroes. Just no follow-up whatsoever. And Era able to just out-damage him. There's the vacuum. Arise skewers Era. Doesn't matter. No damage follow-up. Arise sent back to the well in a body bag. Now we're going to see Envy coiled down as well as Zizou. That'll be that. GG's come out. So Kaipi, arguably the hottest team going right now, runs into a roadblock that they can't get past. They beat Empire, they beat Evil Geniuses, they beat Team Liquid, all in the last week, but Fnatic just too tough a test. Took them 3 games, though. And I was talking about this in the game, or during the early stages of the game. Even if they didn't win, I feel like Kaipi answered some questions. The question is, are they on a lucky run or are they legit? I think they're legit. I think they have played some phenomenal Dota over the last month in particular. And I equally think that they're a team that we should all be watching. With the addition of Eternal Envy, they are really making strides, and they're one of the best unsponsored teams going right now. It's not going to be long. You give it time. You're going to see a sponsor snap these guys up quick. And that's exciting to me. It's really exciting, the thought of having some new blood in the Dota scene.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
See the Ancient drop relatively soon now. With this loss, and keep in mind this has been broadcasted from replays, with this loss, this means that Kaipi will be meeting Liquid in our next series of the day. Our second series of the day should be kicking off in about an hour and 10 minutes from now. "39 minutes, give or take, the official game time. 30-9, the final kill score. Fnatic rules and keeps their run through the G-1 Western Qualifier bracket alive. They're going to stay in the winner's bracket. Kaipi losing 1 to 2. They're going to drop to the lower bracket, look to keep their hopes alive in their entirety by meeting Team Liquid in the lower bracket coming up just about 1 hour from now. I'm AC. You're watching One More Game TV2. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. If this is your first time tuning in, hope you'll hit follow and be back.